welcome to our week 3 quiz tutorial. I only asked you guys to do 2 problems this week because the second one's a word problem, and I know those take a little more time, and I also wanted to break it down so that I could ask you guys individual pieces and parts to really gauge your all's understanding. Okay? So first one I asked you guys is it's called a literal equation. So you're trying to solve for a specific variable in a formula. So the formula I gave you guys is S equals 2 pi r squared to 2 pi h. In case you're curious, that's the surface area of a cylinder. And you are solving for h, which is that. Okay? So to get h by itself, first off, good news, it's only one place, and it's right here, so it's not too bad to get to. And then you're doing regular equation solving stuff. You're just trying to get h by itself. So probably the easiest thing to do is doing the opposite of addition, which would be subtraction, and moving the 2 pi r squared to the other side. So what I'm going to do is subtract 2 pi r squared from both sides to at least move that away from the h. Okay? So 2 pi r squared minus 2 pi r squared cancels out. So what you're left with is s minus 2 pi r squared equals 2 pi h. And then, after that, to get the h by itself, I'm trying to get rid of the 2 and the pi. They're both multiplied, so you can actually get rid of both of them in the same step if you'd like to. So the opposite of multiplication is division. So I will divide by 2 pi on this side and divide by 2 pi on the other side. And that right there will finish us off because 2 pi divided by 2 pi is 1. You're just left with an h on that side. And then this mess, I know it's very big and bulky, but that's what we have left, is s minus 2 pi r squared over 2 pi. That's it. For those of you who want to do the division of 2 pi, you're welcome to do that. So s divided by 2 pi is just s over 2 pi. Minus, you want to do 2 pi r squared divided by 2 pi. The 2's would divide out, the pi's would divide out, you would just be left with a minus r squared. So that's another format. It's the same thing. Okay? So either one of those is correct. Then we move into our word problem. With income earned by selling a patent, an engineer invests some money at 4% and $5,000 more than that, and twice as much at 7%. The total annual income from the investments is $890. Find the amount invested at each rate. Alright, so the first thing I ask you guys to do is just to write the equation to represent the problem. I just want your setup and make sure that that equation is set up well. Okay? So the setup for this one is basically the interest from the 4% plus the interest from the 7% equals your total, which is $890. So the interest for 4%, you do interest equals principal times rate times time. And we're just doing annual income, so our time is 1 year. So really we're just doing rate times principal, okay? So the rate for the 4% is 4%. The principal, or how much money am I investing at that account? We don't know it yet, so that'll be our variable, that'll be x. Okay? And that's how much interest you're getting from the 4% account. The interest from the 7% account, we're going to do the same thing. So we have the rate, which is 7%, times our amount. And our amount, what it tells us is it is $5,000 more than twice as much. So as much is referring to our x. So twice as much would be 2x. And 5,000 more than twice as much would be 2x plus 5,000. And so that right there, the 7% times 2x plus 5,000, that tells me how much interest I'm getting from the 7% account. Okay? Now how that relates to the 890 is that's the total between the two accounts. So what I'm going to do is the interest from the 4%, and I'm going to add that to the interest from the 7%, and that equals our total amount of interest, which is $890. So that's what the setup looks like for that equation. Okay? From there, it's just solving. to get how much is invested at 4% and 7%. I'm going to do my work over here on the side. Hopefully that works out okay for you guys. So first thing for solving is percents need to be converted into decimals so we can actually do our math. So 4% as a decimal would be 0.04. So that'd be 0.04x. 7% as a decimal is 0.07. Okay. After that, I'll distribute, so I can do 0.07 times the 2x plus 5,000. So 0.07 times 2x would be 0.14x plus 0.07 times 5,000 is 350. Okay, and then I'm going to bring everything else back down. I've got a 0.04x added to it, and it equals 890. Okay. Next up, I can combine like terms. 0.04x plus 0.14x would be 0.18x plus 350 equals 890. Then subtracting 350 from both sides to get my x by itself, I have 0.18x equals 890 minus 350, which is 540. And last but not least, dividing by 0.18 on both sides. So then you get x equals 3,000. Now, of course, with word problems, you always have the problem of, what did I just find? So we just found x, so what is x? Well, if you look back at our original equation, x is the amount that went with 4%. So when I have x equals 3,000, what I know is that $3,000 is invested at the 4% interest rate. So that's actually the first answer here. Okay. Then the question is, how do I find the other amount? How do I find how much is invested at 7%? Looking at our equation up here, the amount that was invested at 7% was 2x plus 5,000. So what I'm going to do is 2 times my x, so 2 times 3,000 plus 5,000. And that'll tell me the amount that's invested at 7%. So 2 times 3,000 is 6,000. And 6,000 plus 5,000 is 11,000. So now I know that $11,000 was invested at 7% interest. Okay. Hope this helps you. If you have more questions, feel free to send them my way. Hope you guys have a great week.